Hello, Cindy. Welcome to the this podcast. And Chris, hello, welcome. For those of you watching the video, actually, no. Oh, there we go. Yes. Chris is here with us. But yeah, guys, it's so nice seeing you guys. Because you guys, Cindy, you were on the podcast before, and at the time we recorded when you were in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So can you? I saw your stories and everything that was happening there, but it felt like the way that you guys were locked down was very different from how we were locked down here in Georgia. Can you kind of explain a little bit?
So we were in Toronto, and especially the city of Toronto and like Ontario, province of Ontario, was the longest lockdown in the world. So we were pretty much in lockdown since March 2020. We had a few weeks of freedom-ish, and then they would put us back on lockdown. And we had a stay-at-home order, so you literally couldn't leave your house.
So when we had a stay-at-home order, it was, but you can go for all the essentials, meaning if you needed to go pick up food, groceries.
Yes, you can. But food, groceries, and medicine, alcohol, and cannabis, that's the essentials.
Cannabis?
Yes.
Oh, is cannabis legal in Canada?
Yeah, so that was essential. And then they got to a point where if you go to any store, you walked in and they had blocked off certain sections because it wasn't essential, quote unquote. So like batteries, shower curtains, Tupperware, like bug spray, like little things, KitchenAid, anything like that was blocked off because it wasn't essential because you couldn't buy it. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so you can only buy food and medicine in the grocery stores.
Wow.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the huge difference because here, I think, at least in Georgia, the way they did it was grocery stores are essential, but they just functioned as a regular grocery store.
No, they did that, and then all of a sudden they were like, just kidding, we're closing off this section. So it was the weirdest thing. Like, it was... Like, I couldn't buy Tupperware, so with the church that we belonged to, and like friends that we had, we would make food for them, and I didn't have enough Tupperware.
Oh,
we
man.
couldn't buy Tupperware. So like we're giving soup in like Ziploc bags, you know,
Legit.
like spaghetti in Ziploc bags. That's like all I had at the house because there was only so much Tupperware I could give away. So it was very interesting. We were in lockdown. Even when we left, we were still, I think like a week before we left, they allowed patios to open up. So you couldn't do indoor dining, but you could do patio. So wherever you go, there's like all these like made up patios. That's the only thing they let you open up. So we got to eat at a restaurant like at a patio a few times before we left. And even in the seating, only 4 people can sit per table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and if it's more, you can't sit with other households. So they asked, so like if like us 2 couples went out to eat, we would have to say that we're a family or we can't sit together. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to put the mic a little closer to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, wow. But
better?
that's all those rules sound very familiar because I think those rules were supposedly in place here too, but they weren't really that enforced. Was the enforcement pretty strict?
Oh, yeah.
In Canada? Yeah.
Like they literally wouldn't let us sit together. You had to put in QR code everywhere you went.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and it was really sad because there's this really long street called Yonge Street, and it's kind of like the street where like all the small businesses are and all the cool restaurants are, and you drive down it. Before COVID, it was all bright and lively, and we drove past it, and it's like all boarded up because they all closed. So it's like,
sad.
especially at night, it's like dark, and then like neon light from like Wendy's or like McDonald's, and then like dark. You know, and that's the reality of Canada right now.
Yeah.
So it was very sad. Small businesses are literally dead. Like
So-
they are non-existent.
Have the lockdowns been lifted? I remember seeing something on your Insta story where you guys were like out for the first time in forever because the lockdowns had been lifted.
So they were, at first it was stages, and then they changed the colors. So they would, when the numbers were down, they were kind of like, they would basically like tease us, like, okay, you can now go to the playground because playgrounds were closed, parks were closed.
Sad,
yeah, and then you can go, and then for like 2 weeks, and then they're like, next Friday it's closed, and then it's closed again. So it's like, you know, like you get a little breath of fresh air, and then you're back in lockdown.
Dang.
So that was repetitive over and over again.
Oh, wow.
For months.
Were the numbers bad in Canada? Because I mean, the numbers in America were really bad.
They were not. I don't think they were as bad as the States. Yeah.
I remember there was one weekend where at UGA, the school had just opened. At UGA, it was like 400 new cases of COVID at UGA.
Yeah.
And then that same day, I saw a news clip, like a news reel from Korea. Oh, Korea is on high alert because like 300 new cases in the whole country.
Yeah,
so,
I know. So
like,
it varies from country to country.
No, but it was
you
just
know?
crazy to me that like the way, like for us, it was just business as usual when there was 400 COVID cases from a single university. But Korea, they're like freaking out because in the whole country,
I know.
there's 500 people.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, and even in America, I think the levels of lockdown were very different. In Georgia, I think the Southeast, like where we are,
Yeah.
pretty lax.
Yeah.
But I hear things like California, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very different, for sure.
So are you guys, do you know if Canada's kind of coming out of it now or?
Yes, they are, slowly but surely. Yeah, because it's summer. So even like last summer, they kind of like opened up a little bit. And then as soon as like it got coldish, they're like, ugh. So in the wintertime, it was horrible because it snows a lot there, right?
Yeah.
So being inside, you have seasonal depression already. And then you're in lockdown. So it's like the double whammy type situation. So I remember like on the days, like a month or two before we came to the States, I was like crying at the thought of like freedom. Like
Oh,
I
wow.
was so excited.
Yeah.
And you know, we weren't able to go to church. Churches were closed. Like I think from March 2020 till now, we went to church in person maybe like 6 times, if
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that every time we went, there was like, and we went to a very small church, so they only allowed like a certain capacity. So it was like 10 of us there, and then like we would go home, and then like 10 of us there, go home. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was
no,
very different.
I think for us too, we didn't officially open up the church for a while. I think, so our EM, we opened up maybe like earlier this year with limited capacity, but the church as a whole kind of opened up like just in June.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
remember.
I remember thinking, well, it's not going to be that different, but it was so different. Like going to church with everybody there, and being
Versus-
able to
yeah.
send Aisley to like her children's
Yeah.
ministry and all that. It's so different. Yeah. Wow. So then, yeah, that's. I'm glad you guys are safe and you guys
Thank
are
you.
here
Yes.
now. But I actually really wanted to talk to you because your new Instagram page is one of my favorites that I'm scrolling recently. And actually, my wife just told this story before we started recording. But let me give background first. So you started a new page called.
Yes.
Is it Take with a Grain of Salt or?
So I really wanted to be Take It With a Grain of Salt, but that name was taken. I literally like played around so many times to make it work, and the only thing that worked was Take With Grain of Salt.
Okay,
I think.
take with grain of salt.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but the page is about living a non-toxic life, right? And Shirley, ever since I think even a little bit before Aisley was born, when she was like pregnant with Aisley, she started really getting into that, and thinking of natural alternatives to like toxic things, right?
Yeah.
And she said. I thought I listened to everything she said, but she said I mostly ignored all of that. And the reason, in my defense, guys, I'm not a bad husband. She gets it from all sorts of different sources,
Yeah.
right? She hears it on podcasts. She
Yes.
follows like little like Facebook groups and all that. So she tells me things like here and there. So it's hard for me to
Of
absorb
course.
that.
Oh yeah.
But your page, like one of the pages I follow, so like I'll see something and you'll a lot of times show a product, and like my favorite thing that you do is when you kind of expose greenwashed products.
Yeah.
Like this product is presented as a
Yeah.
natural,
Yes.
like organic, good thing. But like when you look at the ingredients, it's not that great, right? So yeah, your page is one of my favorite, and it's
you.
and Shirley was thanking you for finally getting me into that
Yes.
world, a world that Shirley's been trying to invite me into for a long time. But so I wanted to ask, kind of, what inspired this journey for you?
It kind of started at the beginning of this year. So the reason that we started all this, because Chris and I are trying to have a baby, and it's taking us a longer time than we anticipated. And with the lockdown and everything like that, like it was so hard to see a doctor. And the Canadian like healthcare system already makes it hard. And even on top of that, with COVID, like it took me 6 months just to get an appointment.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after that appointment, it was no good, and just a lot of like hurdles that we went through with the medical system there. So I was like, okay, we gotta do something like within our own hands, because like we're not getting help.
Yeah.
And I started reading about like infertility and like, you know, like delayed pregnancies, and, you know, especially like I'm not that old.
Yeah.
And at that time I was like 28, 29. So I was like, why is it taking us so long? Because like in high school and stuff during sex ed, they're like, if you have sex, you're gonna get pregnant. So I was like, and like my friends are like popping babies. I'm like, oh yeah, like it's fine. And every day on Instagram, it's a baby announcement, right?
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
think it's so easy to have a baby, and then you start trying, and then you're like, why is it taking so long? So that's one of the reasons we started to look at non-toxic, low-toxic items, because I read about how those toxins can affect fertility. So that is the main why that we started, my husband and I started this journey.
That's so great, because I've been reading a lot about fertility issues. Apparently, I saw a statistic that shocked me. Was like 50% of couples have fertility issues. Yeah, because you're right. Like you hear about sex ed, like, oh, you're gonna have a baby the moment you have sex, you know?
Yeah.
So the fact
or like
that,
HIV, and you're like, oh, like, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and 50, that's half of every couple. So if you know two couples, chances are that one of the couples is having an issue.
Yeah.
And you know, like, and something interesting that you said was how, like, yeah, you look at social media and you see all your friends having babies. I'm sure that stress of like seeing that also contributes to it, but that's such a manufactured stress, right?
I know, right?
Because social media, like,
you only put the good stuff, right? Because those people might have taken them a year.
Yeah.
It might have taken them 2 years, but they just post a baby announcement, and that's all you see.
Yeah.
And then all you do is, oh, they're so lucky, right? Yeah. So I did go through a phase like that where I was like, but then I was like, oh my gosh, but this is a celebration of life. You know, God has given them life. Why am I like sad about it? So I had to turn my mentality around. Trying to get pregnant is definitely one of the most interesting things I've gone through, because I think with a lot of girls especially, like most of the girls I know, we're hard workers, and the amount of effort we put into something, we get the outcome, right? But with getting pregnant, like no matter how much effort you put in, the outcome doesn't happen. You're like, where'd it go wrong? Did I have a typo? We can't do anything like that, right? Yeah. So it's definitely like this, but like I feel like we're at a very good place with it, and we're just like at a place where we're just waiting for God's time, because you know it's gonna happen in His time. So yeah,
that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I do think though that's such a natural response. Like when you're trying to have a baby and you see your friends having babies, I think it is a natural response to be like, oh, like why isn't it happening for me? And like I can't speak on it too much, because me and Shirley, like, we've been super blessed. You know, we had Aisley, and we were
what a blessing.
Yeah. But yeah, gosh, the fact that 1 in 2 couples have an issue, and then this is like a recent phenomenon.
Yes.
Like back in the 70s, this wasn't this big of an issue.
Not at all. So they say like men now are 50% less fertile than their dads.
Wow.
Or their grandpas. I forget. But it's, every year 1%. Fertility increases by 1% every single year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. And so you were saying that how toxic products can cause, is it infertility just in general, or is there something that...
Well, there's so many things, and you can't say just toxic things, right? Because it can be your genetics, your body, and things, hormone levels, and things like that. But these toxins definitely contribute to your hormone levels, or like your thyroids, which also relate to your hormones. So it's just a plethora of things that affects you. But yes, they are called, there's a set of chemicals called, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's called endocrine. What was it called? I'm saying it wrong. It was called endocrine disruptors or something. Endocrine?
Endocrine?
Endocrine!
Yeah, okay. I don't know if it's right.
You're right. That's how you say it.
Okay.
Endocrine disruptors, and they literally are hormone disruptors. That's what they do. And like BPA is one of them, and like phthalates, PFAS, like there's a few of them. Fragrance is one of them. So like we try to eliminate like plastic and like scented things that's not 100% essential oil based in our home.
Oh wow. Yeah, so let's get into that. Like I want to understand and know kind of the biggest changes that you guys made in your household.
So it's very expensive to change things all at once.
Yeah.
So we did it one at a time, and we're still learning. I mean, every day I'm learning new things. I'm saving stuff because I didn't major in this. I'm a teacher. I don't know. I can teach you 1 + 1. I don't know what. I don't know how to say
endocrine.
I don't know how to say that. So we all started with one thing. So we started with the things that touch our bodies first. So we changed like our laundry detergent, dish soap, makeup, face lotion, body wash, but all one at a time. Like one at a time. So laundry detergent took a while because I had a whole big old thing of Tide from Costco, but...
So like what did you... So that's a good one. So a lot of people use Tide. Like what did you change it to?
So the cleanest of the cleanest is not financially...
Friendly
or worth it, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting.
They're so small and they're so expensive, right? So I actually use a moderately hazardous one. So on my account, I rank the, but for the listeners, I rank items or products from highly hazardous, moderately hazardous, low hazardous. So low hazardous is where we want to go, but sometimes it's not financially, worth it, in my opinion. So I sometimes use moderately hazardous. So at Costco, they have moderately hazardous
like the
detergent.
Kirkland brand? Or
No, they have, like right now I went to Costco in here and they have the brand called Ecos. And they have that, so I bought that. Back in Canada, they had one called Nature Clean, so I bought that. So, that's why it's called take with grain of salt, because you just gotta take it with grain of salt.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
I see.
So even when I came here, my mom was using Tide, and I was like, Mom, I can't use Tide. So I went and bought Ecos. Because that was the only one available. I actually bought that at Kroger. I went to Kroger, looked at all of it, and then picked the best one that was there. And like, obviously, I don't know what's what, because I'm still learning, so I literally just like read all the ingredients and chose from there.
Yeah, that's something new that I've never done. And Shirley kind of taught me to do that, and your page kind of reinforced it. But for us, it was for food. Like food we were buying for
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Food is a whole nother world that I'm actually learning about now that we are trying to eliminate. So I have really bad like gut health. And gut health, it contributes to fertility as well. So I'm working on my gut health. So what I eat, like Chris and I, we both try to make sure that it's like beneficial, not inflamming foods. A lot of like no artificial stuff. No natural flavors. We literally eat grass. That's basically what you could.
No, but so the interesting thing though is I never thought to look at the ingredients because it's always there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Me too.
And the kind of how do I put this nicely? Okay, well, it's the cunningly deceptive thing is the labeling will say green, eco-friendly, like organic, pure, but then you look at the ingredients and it's
filled
like
with chemicals,
like sulfate this, like
EDTA,
crazy,
something numbers and like artificial coloring C12 or something.
So when I started going shopping for Aisley, something that Shirley told me to do was like if we need something, go to that area and pick the one with the least amount of weird, like unrecognizable words in the ingredients. Yeah. So like if you go get oat milk, like a lot of the times it's oat milk and they usually have one or two things, but there are ones that have like five different, like weird chemicals. So I just sit there and if I don't know what's healthier, I just choose the one with the least amount of weird words.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
The simple with food, the more simple it is, the better.
So, but yeah, I like your, kind of going back, I like your idea of like kind of phasing out the toxic things. And yeah, it makes sense to phase out the things that do touch your body, right? Like, so like you guys phased out like weird fragrance full soaps. Yeah, we got
completely rid of fragrance. Our house, like candles. Fragrance is literally, if you want to start anywhere, if it's like, okay, where should I start? I would say fragrance and plastic. Anything with fragrance.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you guys to look at Cindy's microphone. If you look right below it, I have like two things of Febreze in the back right over there. So is Febreze one of those things that you guys cut out?
Febreze anything with aerosol sprays with scented stuff. Because imagine that you're inhaling that into your lungs, right? That's chemicals. I mean, even the smell doesn't smell natural, right? It smells artificial.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, Febreze is nice. We used to have one in the bathroom that we just,
Yeah.
But then there's alternatives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you? What
So
are the?
we used a brand called Sage, SAJE. I don't know if they have that here. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, but they only make it with essential oils, natural essential oils.
Ah.
So it was nice, and it comes in like a little like spray bottle, so it's not even no aerosol or anything. So it's like,
Oh, I
and
see.
like the smell is pretty potent. So
Oh, so that's a good way to like, kind of if you for people who don't know how to even go about finding fragrance or natural oil fragrances, and you really just have to look up fragrances that are from natural oil and that don't use aerosol. Also, that's like a nice simple. So even if we don't have Sage here, like you could just kind of look
find
that up.
something, for sure.
Oh wow. So, Chris, can I ask you to come to the mic for a quick second? Because I want to ask Chris, right? So this is a journey that it sounds like you kind of like are like really gung ho about, but I want to hear how it affects the husband. So guys, welcome Chris. Yeah. So how has the change for you been?
Like in terms of like eating healthy.
Yeah, just since Cindy started on this journey, just what was the biggest kind of shocker for you?
Definitely like morning ABC juice journey.
Oh.
So we've been like drinking ABC juice like for months,
So
just for the
celery
breakfast
For a while.
Okay.
in the
then
morning
ABC
for
juice.
breakfast.
But what
Gotcha.
about the products?
Oh, products like
What was your hardest breakup with the product?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So the product that you've had to cut out of your life that you miss.
Probably this one.
my shaving gel.
Oh, shaving, like cream
I
shaving.
used to use the Gillette like
Oh.
shaving foam. It's like, nice and foamy and then great. I like the smell of it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But we changed to Dr. Bronner, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then what about the Andalou one? The one you're using now?
Oh, that's nice.
Better,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's better.
Yeah.
But again, it's not perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
use-
okay.
I miss that Gillette shaving foam for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Yeah, that's yeah. I just wanted to get it from the horse's mouth. But so I mean, that's a good. I like that because I think one thing we have to caution the listeners about is it's definitely a sacrifice, right? It's not just a pure like there is a cost, like there is an alternative that's going to cost the same, which is not true, and that's going to work the same, which is also not
That's
true.
not true, yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Then sometimes you have to give up, depending on the product, you have to give up the, what's it called? Product working. I'm
Yeah.
having a brain fart. Product.
Functionality.
Yes.
Yeah.
How well it works.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes you have to give it up.
Mm.
Sometimes it's okay. Like his shaving cream, he switched to a cleaner one. It does the job.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he missed the foam and
Yeah.
the fragrance and stuff. I mean, he was using that for years.
Mm.
And I think that was one of the last thing that we switched. That was one of the things that I felt bad about, was because we were so focused on like house stuff and my stuff, but not his stuff. But
Right.
men's stuff is just as toxic, if not more. His little shaving foam thing, so toxic. Literally, probably one of the most toxic things in our house. And
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
realize it until probably 3 months ago ish.
Hmm.
And I made him throw it all out. And we're Costco shoppers, you know. Like we'd throw it out. We had
Like,
like
the
4
one-
full thing ones, and
Wow.
like I don't want to give it to anyone, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't. Here's poison, you
Like,
know.
hey, it's too bad for us, but I don't mind if you.
Yeah, so we literally just threw it away. I mean, some of the stuff I used, like my old face washes, I used to use it for like cleaning the tub and like cleaning the shower and stuff like that. I try to make the most of it, but sometimes I just have to throw it away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So then, being that it was a kind of transitional thing, have you kind of along the way seen or felt differences? And if you had to peg one thing that caused the biggest difference, what would it be?
So this is like a little bit on the women's side, but when I used to get my periods, I used to have really bad cramps. I get 0 cramps.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
So can you...
So I changed to like cleaner feminine products because actually tampons and things like that can also have BPA.
Wow, and that's like going inside your body.
Yeah, and fragrance. Because a lot of them have scent, right? And that goes inside your body.
Yeah.
That's like the part that you need to keep it the safest, that baby.
Right.
So I switched that out. We throw away all plastic in our kitchen, all fragrance. Doing that, because we started this in February-ish. So from that's only 5 months.
Yeah.
But within 5 months, But I've seen this change, like, within 2 months of changing stuff.
Oh, wow.
But your body, actually, our bodies are, like, the more I learn about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, our bodies are, like, seriously so cool. Because our bodies have the ability to detox. You know, so obviously, and we talked about the ABC juice and stuff.
Yeah.
So we feed our bodies things that can detox, like that helps the liver, especially the liver, because the liver is the filtration of our bodies, right? So like we eat food that helps that detox process, and within 3 days, your body like reduces like 46% or something like that
of like
the
toxins. Wow.
Yeah, after removing it.
So yeah, can I ask you about the ABC juice? I remember seeing it and you guys drinking it. What does it stand for?
Apples, beets, celery, carrot. We put celery, but you don't have to. But it's apples, beets, carrots. We also put lemon juice in it. But it also, it's celery and the carrots and the beets have to be organic. Beets don't have to be, but celery and carrots, because anything that you eat the exterior of, you want to make sure it's organic, because there's so many pesticides that are being sprayed, and those cause like to your body.
I'm sure, because they're designed to kill insects, so they can't be super healthy for the human body. So you guys juice it and drink it, or?
Yes. Well, we don't have a juicer. We have a Vitamix or whatever. So we use it in there. It's amazing. So it just blends it right up. It's like a smoothie, watery smoothie. That's what it is.
Yeah, because
just drink it.
Shirley recently got a juicer for Mother's Day.
Oh, nice.
And so what we do is like we juice like all these like vegetables, like carrots, celery, kale, all that, like lemons. And then she uses that as kind of the liquid base for the smoothies that she makes.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's
super healthy.
But it's so good.
Yes, I bet.
I actually don't like vegetables. So like the taste, like the taste of like celery, I don't think celery tastes good.
It doesn't taste good.
Like carrot, kale, like all of those don't. Yeah. So if I had to drink that juice alone, like I think I would gag. But because like she puts like apples in the smoothie, like bananas, like mangoes, like all those like really like sweet good fruits.
You need that.
Yeah. Like, and then like, so like that overpowers the taste of like all the nasty stuff. So like I drink it and it's like good. So like, yeah, for people out there who don't like all the stuff that we talked about, like you can just throw in other sweet fruits and drink it too. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, we did celery juice for like I think 3 months, and that was tough.
So what was the purpose of that? Was that like to detox?
I don't know. We just did it because they said it was healthy.
Oh, okay. So it's a healthy thing.
Like, I saw like a bunch of people doing it, and I was like, oh, it's like good for you. But Chris did notice a difference. He was more energized.
Wow.
I noticed zero difference. But I did go to the bathroom more often, I think. Like helping regulate your like gut.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that's
like
good. That's good to know. Because you're like, Chris is kind of like a active guy, like golfer, right? So that's important for someone like you to have that extra boost of energy. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So like when you're on your journey of creating content for Take with a Grain of Salt, what have you in your personal research been most shocked about? Because because I'm trying to get pregnant, my focus is on a lot of the fertility stuff.
There's 2 things. One, I use the term non-toxic, but it's it's impossible to be non-toxic because our air is toxic because of the pollution, right?
Oh,
and
wow.
that's just completely into the ground and, you know, the water system and everything. This world is toxic, unfortunately. And humans have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, even like the organic of the organic, you can't kind of believe it anymore because the soil, who knows what's in that soil, right? Is the soil organic? Is it purely organic? Not anymore. Because we as humans have toxified this earth.
Well,
so
quick tidbit. Something I tell people that people don't believe me about is, have you heard of the company Monsanto? So they're a produce, like they're like a produce company. They sell like seeds and they sell like fertilizer and stuff like that. But the crazy thing that they do is they genetically modify their seeds so that they can only grow when you use their fertilizer. And when you use their fertilizer in your soil, you can't use any other fertilizer. Like it like ruins the soil to only be able to like produce stuff with that fertilizer. So like, and apparently they've supplied 90% of the seed to the world. So like,
well, what was the statistic that we read? Like 80% of the farming land here is GMO just in the States. So
it's just in the food that we eat. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
And it's like so scary because a lot of these really, it affects the development of our future children, the children of this generation, and how they're going to grow up. I actually read a really scary statistic today that the kids being raised in this generation, like being born from like 2000 and on, their lifespan is cut by 11 years because of the food that they consume.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how factual that is, but I read it today and I was like, what the, what? Well, that does make sense. Like, I mean, you know, kids are eating artificial stuff, like artificial coloring, natural flavors, and like the things that they use, you know? So it's just, it's a sad reality. So it used to give me stress at the beginning. Like, you know, like, oh my gosh, you know, like we should, like, I don't know, maybe we should move to the Amazon, you know, like, I don't know what we should do. But yeah. And second shocking thing I think is that when women are pregnant and the things that we, you know, we think we're only carrying that one child, but we're also carrying the reproductive cells of that child, right?
Oh,
so you're actually including, if I was pregnant right now, I'm like sitting here, it's 3 generations. Me, my baby that I'm carrying, and that baby's babies because of this reproductive cells. So the things that you use while you're pregnant affect that baby's reproductive cells.
So it's not just affecting your child, but potentially your grandchild. Wow.
So they say like the things that why fertility might be on the rise now is because of what our grandparents used, you know, or what our parents used.
Wow. So, because that makes sense because, well, one of the things that shocked me was like when we talk about organic apples versus non-organic, what I hear from a lot of the older generation is just get the non-organic. Like we fed you guys non-organic stuff all the time. But then like I read that that's not really true because back then it was so much safer. Like non-organic back then was pretty much organic now. So like that just
you can't compare anymore.
Yeah, it's like in such a short amount of time, like all the foods that we think are just as safe as they were back then. It's not necessarily true. Yeah,
because there's so many more chemicals introduced, right? So
gosh. So for me, when I look at your page, things that always draw my attention, I don't know why. I guess I have no reason why this is interesting to me, but I'm always interested in people trying to deceive the consumer, right? So like the green, you call it the greenwashed.
So that term really talks about like eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, and it doesn't talk about like beauty products either. So greenwashing is technically only for like, we're organic and we're naturally sourced and we're reef friendly, like things like that. There's no word for like for cosmetics promoting themselves as vegan and natural, like cruelty free, you know? I feel like there should be a word for it. So sometimes I just use greenwashing to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get called out in the comments. It's not greenwashing. And I'm like, there's no word for it.
Yeah.
What should I should make it up.
Yeah.
Clean washing.
I think that, there you go.
Yeah.
Clean washing. But then, like, it's just the whole concept of
Yes,
it, right?
it's the concept of it.
The concept being they're knowingly presenting themselves as one thing, but because they're technically not straight up lying, like they can get away with it.
Yes.
You know? So like one of the things I saw is there's a product at Target called Method.
Yes.
They're like dish detergent. And we got it because they present themselves as like super clean.
Plant-based, everything. Yep.
Yeah, but that was actually on one of your list of one of the greenwashed products. So I felt like betrayed, you know, like because like people
and like Mrs. Myers. That's a
there
big
you go.
one.
Yeah, we use that too. So for us, it was like we're gonna make the extra effort to get like healthier things, but there's another layer. Like if you don't research enough, then you can actually be getting just as bad
as Windex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, and I guess I know the reason why I'm drawn to those posts. It's because like these corporations are choosing profits over allowing people
for sure
to have a better healthier life. And that's like what a messed up thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
And again, that's why I like your page so much because it's like you actually you do the work to research what is good, what is bad, and call out the corporations that are making it, you know,
seem like they're good.
Yeah, being deceptive. And so being able to kind of follow your journey has opened my eyes as well. So there are things I wouldn't have checked for before that I check for now, like when I buy certain things. Yeah. So what has the reception been for your page, like the followers, the comments? Because you mentioned a little bit that you.
Yeah. So I would say like 99% good. Like I had a collaboration back in Canada. They sent me like vitamins, like natural, because I also got into vitamins, and like we think vitamins are good, and then vitamins also have toxic ingredients in it. I know, it's so depressing.
Yeah.
But so they sent me like clean ones, but it's been great. I mean, I get a lot of great messages. At the beginning, I got a lot of like, you're stressing me out messages, like you're telling me my house is toxic. And then like now I'm like, thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing that. I get a lot of those from strangers. So that's nice. And then sometimes I get like hate comments, like stop fear mongering. Yeah. And I'm like, okay.
yeah, that's interesting because it's like when you tell someone the house they're living in is on fire. Yeah. Like sometimes they want to choose the comfort over like reality,
which I can understand.
Yeah.
And I try to be nice about it. And I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to, but I understand where you're coming from. Like, thank you so much for commenting. So I don't want to be mean about it, you know, because I follow a couple people who are like in the same realm as me, and they're like, you know.
Yeah.
It's not worth my time to fight with a stranger on the internet.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, thank you, heart, kill him with kindness.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh,
but it's been pretty good. Yeah, I would say it kicked off for a little bit. Some of my reels went viral, I think. So
yeah. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's like really entertaining stuff. It's not just here's an infographic. You actually like do like fun things, or you're like, you know,
I'm like dancing.
Yeah.
I cringe so hard.
No, but it's engaging, right? It's like you were saying, it's a pretty depressing topic.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of revealing that so much of the things that you use is toxic.
Could be hurting you.
Yeah. But being able to present it in an engaging way, I think helps people kind of step into it.
For sure.
And I just remembered the most shocking thing that I saw on your page.
What?
It was the Flintstones vitamins.
Oh, yeah.
And how bad they are.
Yes, they're literally just sugar tablets
with
artificial coloring.
That makes me like so mad because so first of all, I used to eat those when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I haven't met a single person who hasn't, right? And so like I just now that I'm a parent, I imagine a parent at the grocery store seeing vitamins. Oh, like this is a fun character-based vitamin.
And it says #1 pediatrician recommended. So you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
But then those are all quote unquote greenwashing words.
Yeah.
Because pediatrician recommended can literally mean one person. So that's what they use. And they
Yeah.
could be paying that person to recommend us. And then they put it on the label.
See, like because like it's like, yeah, like there's so many fears that a parent has. Like, so just to be really open, like there's so many things I worry that I'm doing wrong with Aisley. You know, like every word I say, like every like moment of like discipline, like, oh, did I do that right? Did I traumatize her for life? You know, there's like so many different things, right?
For sure.
But like in that, if I were that parent seeing this Flintstones vitamin and saying, oh, this is going to be great for my child, they're going to love it and it's going to be healthy for them. Like, it's like such a betrayal
I
of
know.
that desire to
Yes.
want to like provide a better
Yes.
living for
Yes.
child, you know?
Yes. So I really don't try to like shame anyone on there, because no parent, because I have a lot of parent followers, no parent would purposely hurt their child.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, oh, this is going to give my kid cancer. Can't wait to buy it and feed
Yeah.
him. No one's going to say that,
Yeah.
right? So they're all trying their best and they think that they're getting the best for their child. And then when they end up learning that it's actually hurting them, like, can you imagine like how infuriating that could be? So I try not to shame anyone. I try to just put the information out there and then just like take it or leave it. Like, it's up to you.
No, but that's great, because if the big corporations that sell these products won't tell us the truth, at least we have someone like you who
Yeah. I mean,
can-
there's huge ones. I mean, there's like humongous non-toxic bloggers. Like they have like almost like 1 million followers and stuff. So like, I think nowadays people are getting into it more than before. So, and I think that the consumers do have power, because think about gluten stuff. If you think like even 5 years ago, you didn't find a lot of gluten-free options
That's
at the
right.
grocery store, but now it's like you can
GF.
find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
And even at restaurants, gluten-free, add $1, you know,
Yeah.
like it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a thing, but that became a thing because of the consumers.
Mm.
So I feel like if the consumers continuously fight for cleaner, better products, we'll get that.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that that will happen, because I see it more. There's so many more options now for cleaner stuff. Not as many, but they're still available.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I am also a firm believer that you vote with your money.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you need to, but then okay, well here's one thing though. Sometimes organic and like healthier things are prohibitively expensive for
Yes.
some people.
Yes.
So I mean, we're not trying to shame anybody. So sometimes like even yourself, you have to take the moderate
Yes.
option instead of the best, just because of like
Yeah.
we all have our own financial
Yes.
situations.
Yes.
So if you're hearing this and you feel bad because you're only buying the quote unquote like the toxic things because of like we're not trying to like say you're doing anything wrong.
Yeah, no.
Right. Yeah. But I do think those with power, if we keep pushing, then the prices they have to drop.
Yes,
right.
I agree.
They can't just keep increasing the prices to make
Yeah.
things more clean, and then
Yes.
they're going to lose their customer
Exactly.
base. Right. So
Yeah.
I do see I am hopeful
Mm-hmm.
because people are becoming more wise to the scheme of things. But I do think, people like you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, of kind of leading the way.
Yeah.
Because, like how many people, like 2 years ago, would you have known any of this stuff?
No. 2 years ago, I was spraying perfume every single day and using Tide and bleach and and if you'd use that, it's totally fine, but yeah.
And so, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you look into my bathroom, you wouldn't say, oh my gosh, everything's so non-toxic. Of course, there's things that I can't give up. There's things that they're still toxic for me. But the point of my page is to not completely eliminate, because I said it's impossible, but to reduce.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. If you can reduce one item in your bathroom a day, then you're doing great.
Yeah. And so I like the page name, Take with Grain of Salt, meaning like, hey, like this is just the information. And like you said, take it or leave it. But I think the motivation here isn't to say if you use these products, you're going to die tomorrow, right? No, it's, just in the long term, there are health benefits of cutting these things out. So I'm really hoping that people aren't like scrambling right now and trying to throw away all the products in the bathroom right this moment. Yeah, it's
But you know what's really good? Walmart has a ton of clean products.
really.
Yes.
Oh,
Even
interesting.
TJ Maxx, Costco. So there's places where you think they won't have it, but they have it for affordable prices. So that's very good.
See, that's great because I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like that's like a newer trend because anything cleaner came at a premium.
Yes,
like I just
agree.
think back like 5 years ago, like I remember I used to not like I love milk. I used to not drink organic milk because it was like if a gallon of milk was like $4. Organic was like $6.
Yeah.
Like really, like it's like
Yeah.
50% increase,
Yeah.
right? I only drink organic now, because like first of all the price difference has
Slightly reduced.
decreased.
Yeah.
But like I understand the health benefits of it, right?
yeah.
So the fact that places like Walmart and Costco, where you can buy healthy, clean stuff in bulk, that's great.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
wow.
great. And like Costco, especially in the summertime, they have a lot of organic produce. In the wintertime, not as much, but in the summertime, great products. And you don't have to buy everything organic. Like if you're gonna buy organic avocados, don't. You're wasting your money.
Interesting.
Yes. Bananas, no, you don't have to. Because think about this is what I like to tell people. If you're eating the external part, buy it organic. If there's a peel,
So like
Yeah.
oranges.
well, the oranges are a little bit different.
Oh,
Yes,
good thing I
citrus
asked.
stuff you want to buy organic because they spray a lot of pesticides. So when you're peeling it, you know the juice goes everywhere. It's getting on your hands, and then you eat it. So you're directly consuming it. So there's a list. There's a non-profit group called Environmental Working Group, EWG, and they released a dirty dozen. So they have 12 produce and fruit items that you must buy, or you should try to buy organic from. And then clean 15, which means like these are sprayed with the least amount of pesticides, so you don't have to buy organic for these.
That list was on your page, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that I tell people to do that. You know, so like for example, like bananas, avocados, watermelon, like you don't really need to buy organic for that. Like save a couple bucks and then buy organic apples, buy organic berries, you know, strawberries, blueberries, things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, because Aisley loves like strawberries, watermelons, all those things. But yeah, organic fruits are really expensive
Yes.
compared to non-organic. So it's good to know that there are certain things that
Yes.
I can kind of
Yes.
prioritize lower.
Yeah, for sure. So like anything that you eat the exterior of, like broccoli, leaves, things like that, spinach, you want to buy organic because you're actually eating like the entire thing. Tomatoes, but things like exterior, you don't have to. Yeah.
So we talked about kind of fragrances. We talked about plastic stuff. Actually, I did want to ask about plastic. So when you say you cut out plastic, does that just mean like Tupperware or
So
like utensils?
Tupperware, utensils, cutting board, cups. What else is there in the kitchen? Anything plastic was gone.
Oh.
Anything plastic gone.
So for cutting boards, you use like wooden cutting boards? Oh, interesting. You know what's funny? I remember growing up, I had like a cup designated for me that was mine. It was a plastic cup.
Yeah, me too.
Oh no.
It was my favorite. I think it was like Pineapple Willie's or something. It was my favorite, and I would only drink there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
if you.
No, I grew up with plastic.
Yeah.
I like literally like all my because I grew up playing sports, you know, so all my water bottles were plastic. Like I don't think we switched to non-plastic until he switched jobs and they didn't have a water fountain, so we had to buy a big water bottle. And at Costco they had stainless steel ones, you know. I was like, oh, this size is perfect. That's why we switched. It wasn't the purpose of no plastic. It was the purpose of, oh, this is gonna fill a lot of water.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah, but we those are awesome.
Yeah. There was something that I used to do in college that was terrible. It's I driving around, I would have like a couple water bottles in my car, like the just one use ones, and no matter how long it's been sitting there,
You drink
if there's there, I would just drink
Oh
it.
yeah, me too.
But-
it'll taste funny, but you're like, I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes it's like, oh, it's warm water
Yes.
because it's been sitting in the sun.
Yes.
But it's whatever. But that's like terrible for you,
Yes.
right?
Literally, you can just pretty much think that you're just downing chemicals down.
Yeah.
So actually, like, speaking of that, like, to-go foods freak me out. Especially if you order, like, soupy stuff. Sometimes, like, they give you in a plastic tub. It, like, gives me stress.
Yeah.
I mean, I still eat it, you know, and, like, and after I take the first bite, it's delicious, and I forget about it. But the initial moment, I'm like,
chemicals.
you know, like, red alarm.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can see how you can fall into this kind of almost debilitating fear
Yes.
of things. But yeah, I guess what you're aiming for is kind of a happy medium, right? Where you're not so afraid of everything that you can't function, but you're just trying to reduce where you can.
It's
like,
all about reducing. You can't eliminate. You cannot eliminate. It's all about reducing.
that's depressing.
Yeah.
But a little bit reassuring as well.
Yeah, a little bit hopeful.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I don't have to get this pressure on myself to
Yeah.
eliminate it. I just got to reduce it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, one product at a time.
So what is? I know you said you partnered with a company. And is it? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, so it's called Platinum Naturals. They're a Canadian-based vitamin company, and so a lot of vitamins they have like the coating. Sometimes it's like silicone based, or they're like wax based, or something like that. Not natural wax based, because you know it has to be easy to swallow. So they always coat it. So I was taking a prenatal, and this is before the whole non-toxic stuff, and I was just like taking it every day. I think I took it for like 6 or 7 months, and then I read the ingredients, the non-medical ingredients, because we only read the medical ingredients, right? Oh, it has this amount of iron, this amount of zinc, whatever. We don't read the non-medical stuff. I read the non-medical stuff, and this is made for pregnant women and women who are breastfeeding, right? And it had artificial coloring, it had silicone coating, it had all these things, and I was like, I've been eating this for 7 months. And, you know, that one did make me feel nauseous. I wonder if that was my body telling me, like, I had to eat it with food. Or if I would get nauseous. So I switched it to Platinum Naturals because they were plant-based coating. And I think they actually use, like, coconut wax or beeswax. That's what they use, yeah. So I switched to them, and I actually felt so much better.
Oh, that's
with
good
their
to know.
stuff. Yeah. So like I was like just like, you know, on my Take with Grain of Salt account, and then I commented on their like one of their pictures like, I love your prenatals. They work so good. And then they DM me, hey, let's collab. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I'm not an influencer, so I was like, you know. And then they sent me a box of vitamins and different things to try out, and then
So is it like you're kind of just like promoting it for them?
No, they used to send it to me, and then I just posted a story about it. That's
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But that's good to know, because I know Shirley, there was when she was pregnant the first time, there was this prenatal she was taking that also made her nauseous. Oh. So like, yeah, I know that's an issue for a lot of people, like because our doctor said that was. So to have an alternative, natural alternative,
There's
that
so
doesn't.
many. There's so many out there. Yeah.
It's good to
Yeah.
know. Wow.
If you go to iHerb.com, that's a great website.
iHerb, like HERB.
They have great clean products for affordable prices, and they ship globally.
No.
So you can literally get it anywhere.
Does Platinum Naturals, they don't ship
They're
globally?
not, because they're like kind of a startup. Yeah.
So for people if anyone's in Canada listening to this, you guys can go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I wanted to ask you to step away from the Take with Grain of Salt for a second. You guys are planning on going to Korea soon.
Yes.
Right, at the end of the month, right?
Yes, in like 2 weeks, actually.
So are you? I guess this is related to Take with Grain of Salt, but are you is there any part of you that's worried about
For sure.
how
Yes.
to like translate
Yes.
this whole thing?
Yes. But you know what the crazy thing is? All the chemicals are the same. Instead of like it's saying paraben, it is say parabin. You know, like in the Korean like romanized version.
Yeah.
So I can look for that.
I see.
But I told Chris, I was like, we got to stock up before we go.
Yeah.
Like especially like on our like face stuff, cosmetic stuff. That's the main thing I'm worried about, because actually Korean moms are not crazy. They're very dedicated to their children. So they're like obsessed with like, if one thing's a trend, they're all into it, right? And there was a time where like clean products were the trend. So I'm actually very curious to go to the store there and see how clean they really
Mm-hmm.
are.
Mm-hmm.
So, worst comes to worst, there's iHerb, which ships globally.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Well, if you want to sponsor us,
Yeah, you can.
yeah, go to Take with Grain of Salt and you can partner with her. But I wonder if Korea is going to try to focus more on the clean living lifestyle, because I recently read that the birth rate is so low.
It's the lowest in the world, I believe. Number one, they go back and forth with Japan.
Yeah.
But I read a statistic. It was like by 2200.
Yeah. No more Koreans.
No more Koreans.
Yeah.
They'll be extinct.
Yeah. So I think a lot of that has to do with like economic reasons, like people not getting married and all that. But I wonder how much of it is the fertility issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think fertility issue is big in Korea because I know so many people based in Korea who've done IVF, which people do when they can't have babies
Yeah.
naturally.
Right.
So, but I wonder if it has to do with the pollution there, the stress there, and Koreans take out food so much.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't blame them though. They're just like
Yeah, it's
so
good.
easy, so
Yes.
good. Yeah.
But even when I was teaching there, all of my students like lived at the convenience store.
Yeah.
And then for a short period, I had a theory. I was like, you know what? Koreans eat so many like chemicals and like, what are the things that makes it not
Preservative.
preservatives?
Yeah.
That's why they're young, because their bodies literally are filled with preservatives.
They're being preserved by the chemicals.
Yeah, they're like mummies.
Wow. Yeah, no. But yeah, it's like the lifestyle there is so different that it's difficult. Like when I went to go visit my brother, he lives in Korea. Like you can order samgyeopsal, like pork belly.
Yes.
And they like have it cooked for you and like wrapped up.
perfectly wrapped.
Yeah.
Everything. It's great.
And it's so quick.
And it comes, so you get it. It's still hot and
Yeah,
crispy,
yeah.
not soggy or anything.
Yeah.
I know. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
Maybe you can make what's the Korean equivalent of take with grain of salt?
I have no idea.
Like 소금 갖고 들으세요? I don't know. Like Chris is laughing at me because it's terrible. But maybe you can do like a Korean version.
I know. I thought about that because I'm like, okay, so most of my followers are U.S. based, and then like Canadian based. So like the Korean stuff is not gonna matter to them, right? So when I go there, I have to find products that are available in America. But the thing is, Korea has different laws with chemicals. So
Interesting.
like I think the U.S. only bans 38 chemicals to be used, not to be used in ingredients, but I believe like the EU has like 138 chemicals that they're not allowed to use. So even if Aveeno makes same product, one's in France and one's here, they're gonna be totally different ingredients. That's the same thing with Korea too. So even if I do Johnson & Johnson baby powder, US might give you cancer, Korea might not. So I have to also learn about that.
Oh, that's gonna be quite a transition.
Yeah, I might just give it up and be like, peace.
No, you can still do products that are like globally available.
I'll probably do that.
Because like when you think about companies like iHerb, I wonder. So does that mean that they can only ship certain products to the EU, whereas they can?
I have no idea because one of my friends from high school, she's in Spain right now, and she was asking me about products because she's pregnant, and she's like, it's hard for me to find stuff here, and she's like, everything's in Spanish, like, and I told her about iHerb, and she's like, oh my gosh, they ship here. So I don't know if they're shipping from a European-based factory, whatever distributing factory, or U.S.-based. I have no idea.
Right.
But she said that they ship there, and I know iHerb ships to Korea as well.
And that's so interesting. Like the numbers, like how America only bans 38, but the EU bans how many? 100?
118 or 138. I forget. These are a lot of numbers. I'm really bad with numbers, so I don't really remember. But the US is really low.
Yeah.
And like the EU is like tripled our number.
Yeah. So you there's no wonder why so many health problems in the US, like obesity and all that kind of stuff.
Obesity is huge.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, you might consider it freedom to take whatever product or use whatever product you want, but at the same time, like, what level of protection is there? Because, like, we can't. It's obvious that we can't rely on the corporations to guide us because they'll lie to us to make a quick buck, right? But if the corporations aren't I mean, if the government is also like kind of willy-nilly about it, then it's really on the consumer to
It really
to be
is. I mean, even
vigilant.
the FDA, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, yeah, I think, or hoping that you keep your page going even when you're in Korea.
Yeah. I've been kind of lazy ever since I've come back. I used to post like 3 or 4 times a week, and like now that I'm here, like on vacation mode, I'm like posting like once a week, and like I see that my followers are kind of like, so I gotta get back on it because I'm about to lose some followers.
Well, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Hey, you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Hey,
I know, but it's a long vacation.
followers of Take with Grain of Salt, you got cut Cindy some slack. She's on vacation. Let her relax, you know.
I've actually, I've been meaning, like even today I went to Publix and Chris and I were like looking at stuff, you know, like looking at diapers actually. 'Cause somebody messaged me saying, "Hey, can you review some diapers?"
Oh yes, can you?
Yes,
That would
and
be
I was
so
like, yeah.
helpful.
So I was like looking at it because, and one of the things that angers me the most is how toxic baby products are. I'm like, you guys are evil. These are literally the most vulnerable of our population, and you're literally giving them poison,
Yeah.
and knowing the effects of it.
Yeah.
Like, they're so evil.
Yeah.
I get really angry about the baby stuff because the baby, baby stuff
Yeah.
is so bad for our babies. That's what angers me the most.
Yeah.
So yeah, next thing I'm gonna do is baby diapers, but that takes a lot of research.
No,
'Cause
I'm
it's like
sure.
cotton material, fragrance, even probably down to the adhesive.
Yeah,
Of what
yeah.
sticks it too. So
Yeah. So like for us, yeah, that's another thing, right? So what we just kind of chose what appears to be the cleanest, like fragrance free, like this all
Yes.
natural cotton, whatever. So that's the diaper we use for Aisley. But who knows? Like there's no way for us to know unless
Exactly.
like I sit down and like
and
really
research
research.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who has time for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, gosh, yeah, you're right. All the nasty stuff that goes into our babies.
Yeah, that angers me the most.
Hmm.
Like me, sure, do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the babies, literally, like if I'm sick, I can say it. Babies can't.
Hmm.
You know, like how are they supposed to vouch for themselves? They
Yeah,
can't. You know, they might cry, but that could be because they're hungry, or they need a diaper change, or they just need a nap.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the ones with the baby stuff angers me the most, and
Yeah.
the kid stuff,
Yeah.
because there's so many bad stuff out there for kids, and I'm like artificial coloring. I know that sounds so little,
Uh-huh.
but that's been linked to like ADHD, cancer,
Mm-hmm.
thyroid problems, like IQ deficiency, like all different stuff. And I want to say like 90% of the artificial kids snacks and stuff
Mm-hmm.
has artificial coloring in it.
You know what's funny about that is I got Aisley these finger painting soap things, and they're like colored soap that she can kind of like play around with in the
Ooh,
bath.
fun.
But that's all like read the ingredients of it. It's all like those natural no artificial coloring chemicals. So like I remember like, but like it was like. We loved it because
Yeah.
Aisley learned her colors with it.
Yeah.
That's what she enjoyed during bath time
Yeah.
and stuff. But the fact that they created that, but then like knowing full well that it's not the best for kids, but it's marketed at kids, like because like as a consumer, you just see things. Oh, this is made for kids, so you kind of automatically assume that they're safer. But when you realize that they're not, again, it's like so heartbreaking
Yes.
and like so like. I remember I bought like a whole I bought 3 at first. Aisley loved it, so I bought like a whole like bag full of it. And Shirley was like, that's like not the best for her. So like, but then like she was having so much fun with it, we couldn't completely cut it out.
Yeah.
I've just stopped buying it.
Yeah.
She's almost done with it now. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like such a like I
You gotta
want
take it
it.
with a grain of if she's getting, but then like, this is where like you gotta like pick and choose, right?
Right.
Like she's getting so many benefits out of it.
Yeah.
She's learning colors. It makes her happy. Things like that. But then the chemicals. But then it makes her so happy.
Right.
So you have to take it with a grain of salt. Okay, you know what? Until it runs out, and then no more after that. I think that's a good happy medium.
Yeah. But gosh, yeah, it's. I know this is like my 5th time saying it, but it's just so sad that the consumer isn't really protected, and they kind of have to rely on themselves to protect themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But let's not end on a sad note. Let's end on a happy note. What is a happy note we can end on?
We're going to Korea.
Going
in
to
2
Korea.
weeks. Our plan is to literally YOLO. Like we plan on like getting part-time jobs and not being committed and like not adulting.
Wait, is it like a permanent thing or
No,
is
it's a temporary thing. So I mean, I think it's a very we talk about this all the time, but it's a blessing that we get this opportunity to do it. You know, we had 2 years of our marriage in Canada, and then now we're gonna have how many more years? A few years in Korea, traveling, eating, and then we're gonna finally move down in Georgia and settle.
Oh, so you guys are planning on coming back?
Yes,
awesome.
Georgia is our end goal.
Awesome. Yeah.
But before we get to the end goal, we want to travel, get it out of our system.
Yeah.
And like we talk about it, we're like, oh, thank goodness we don't have a baby yet.
Yeah.
Because if we had a baby, can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
We had to get full-time jobs.
Yeah. And like traveling with the kid is.
Yeah.
We recently went to Las Vegas with Aisley, and we thought we were being so smart because we took a 9 p.m. flight. We were like, she's just gonna sleep the whole time. She didn't sleep a wink. Maybe like 30 minutes, and then like by the
Was it
time
her first flight?
this was her third flight actually.
Oh wow.
We travel a lot.
Yeah.
Just because of reasons, but but by the time we got our rental car and we got checked into our hotel, it was 1 a.m. Las Vegas time.
Oh my
which
goodness.
is 4 a.m.
Yes.
here time. So she was like, it was like the worst experience for her. So yeah, but it's nice that you guys have this time to like be able to travel.
It's a huge blessing, I think, because we get to do this, and then we can have have children.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and Georgia's a great place to have babies.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of parks.
Yes.
The cost of living is low.
Yes, and I'm from Grayson, right? And in Grayson, a newish elementary school opened, and there it's a French immersion school.
Cool.
And Chris's sister lives in France, and she's married to a French man. So we were like, this is perfect. We can send them there so they can talk to their cousins.
Wow.
And they can go in the summertime, and like and then when they come here, they can talk.
Yeah.
You know? So like, our end goal is Grayson, Georgia.
That's awesome. That's
because
awesome.
of the French immersion school.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Well, thank you both for being here. Chris, thanks for being here as well. Man, but seriously, guys, if you are not already following Cindy's account, it's Take With Grain of Salt. I'll make sure to put it in the episode description. But yeah, just follow her, even if you're not super interested in cutting toxins out of your life. It's just good information to know, just to have in your back pocket. And like you can always go back to her older posts and look at different things. So it's super helpful. And I mean, it's some of the benefits we talked about is you don't really have cramps during your time of the months, and Chris felt more energetic when you did the celery juices. So there are definitely tangible positive experiences.
For sure.
So yeah, I really recommend you guys look into those things. Any last thoughts before we end our podcast for the day?
Remember, it's not about elimination, it's about reduction.
There you go. All about the reduction. Well, once again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any feedback, feel free to email me or at IHTHTpodcast@gmail.com or on Instagram at I Hope They Hear This. And yeah, make sure to check out the Instagram because I'm going to be tagging Cindy's account. Sorry. I'm going to be tagging Cindy's account so you can follow her for her there. So thank you guys once again, and we'll talk to you guys next time.